everybody, welcome back. Welcome to 2024 with a big bang. I can't believe it. I came back from holiday. This is the longest break that I've ever had. My apologies, but it was definitely well needed. And we've got over 170,000 subscribers to this channel now. This is absolutely amazing. There's so many countries and people from all around the world. So to any new subscribers, welcome. And I think this is amazing. So may 2024 maybe being a little bit greedy, but I really love to see the channel grow even more to maybe 200,000. That would be insane. That could be my New Year's wish for the year. So my break, I'm not going to bore some of you that are not interested with it because I know a lot of you are here just for the royal gossip. I did do an epic 3-week journey from Louisiana to Mississippi to Alabama and all the way back down with my husband, but I'm going to do a completely separate video about that because there's so much to talk about, and I hope you join me for that video, but it will be completely separate from any of the royal news. So as for royal news, the royal family was in the news continuously whilst I was out in America, but it wasn't our royal family for a change. I mean, obviously they did make it into the papers, but this huge news, the abdication of Queen Margrethe II of Denmark, the last reigning queen. This is absolutely mind-blowing. She has abdicated to allow her son, Crown Prince Frederik, and his wife, Princess Mary, are soon to be the king and queen consort of Denmark. This is huge news, especially because the Queen had previously said that she would be like our late Queen, Queen Elizabeth, and she would never abdicate, but she has decided to do so. So it's pretty big news, but it's not the first time that the Denmark royal family have been making waves across the news around the world, and that's because back in 2022, Queen Margrethe made the controversial decision, to some, to strip 4 of her grandchildren, basically the children to her second son, of their prince and princess titles. She said she had done this to give the children a more normal life. They were not going to be working members of the royal family, so it made sense. Obviously, this caused friction, and it was reported that she wanted to do it before her son, Crown Prince Frederik, had become king because it would have left him to deal with it, which is something that King Charles might want to take into consideration rather than leaving any sort of loose ends for Prince William to have to clean up with his younger brother. Now, the reason why I bring this story up, 1, because it's actually very interesting, but 2, it made waves because people were saying that King Charles should abdicate, or King Charles is going to abdicate. We're seeing lots of stories being fed into the press. I don't believe this. I don't believe that he is going to take early abdication, or at least not anytime soon. He spent his entire life waiting to be king, and I'm sure that he feels very, very blessed that his mother lived to a ripe, long old age. But he's only recently taken over as the king, and of course Prince William, the Prince of Wales. Not only that, Prince George is just 10 years old. King Charles became the Prince of Wales technically when he was 9 years old after the Queen's father had died. Okay, he didn't get sworn in officially until he was 20 years old. But would you really want that added extra pressure onto your grandson and for Prince William for his son? He was a lot older and it gave him a chance to learn the ropes from his father. And I'm sure that he would very much like to spend many years being the Prince of Wales, changing the Duchy of Cornwall how he wants to, and allowing George to grow up and to have a bit of a life before all of this responsibility falls onto his young head. That being said, there's a part of me that hopes that King Charles does abdicate rather than waiting until he passes, for the simple fact how much nicer it would be for Prince William to have that momentous time in history when he becomes king, to have his father watching him on the balcony. I think it would be nice for Charles, I think it'd be nice for William, and I think generally the public. It would make for a lot happier ceremonies. We saw so much grief with Charles and the rest of the royal families, and I think it would be much nicer, as I said, for Charles to actually be there overlooking and watching his eldest son take the same vows that he has done himself. And hopefully by then we won't have any more dramas being created by a very bitter second son who is living overseas, who I'm sure to this day is still incredibly bitter, especially because of the recent news, which I am in no doubt has caused temper tantrums, of his name being left out of a new book. Now, this isn't a royal gossip book because Lord alone knows we've had enough of those in recent years. This book is called They Also Served: 200 People Who Have Trained at Sandhurst by Vaughan Kent Payne. The book names the top 200 alumni that have trained at Sandhurst, the Royal Military Academy. Famous alumni are singer James Blunt, Oscar winner David Niven. You have astronaut Tin Peake, polar explorer Preet Chandi. She is an incredible woman who just last year completed the longest ever solo polar expedition across Antarctica and the South Pole. And of course, we then have our very own Prince William, because he is going to be the next king. So note, this is not to do with notable army careers. This is people that have trained at Sandhurst that have notable careers and things that they have achieved in their life. So that alone should tell you why I think Harry has been left off of this, because when you think about Harry's greatest achievements, what exactly are they? He's little more than a D-list celebrity these days, setting up pap strolls. Now, there's lots of speculation as to why Harry did not make the cut in this book. And some have said it's because of his arguments with the royal family, the war that he's waged on them. I'm sure, no doubt, Harry will be blaming either the royal family or the British media for the reasons why he was excluded from the book. Some have said he has quite literally trashed Queen and country, king and country, future heir and country. It's somewhat at odds with the oath of allegiance that men and women swear when they join the army. Plus, they also commit to service, loyalty, duty, honesty, honour, all of the things that we have clearly seen that Harry is lacking these days. Could it be that in his recent biography, which was last year, was it that long ago? It feels only like yesterday, that Harry said that he had, on a training exercise, used military aircraft to fly over his father's car and he was going to blow up his father. Yes, Harry said in his own words, in spare, that he was going to kill his father because he was upset about something. I can't imagine that went down well with the army. But as I said, pinch of salt with a lot of things that Harry has said. The army also might have been annoyed with Harry, the fact that he admitted that he was allowed out of drug testing, mandatory drug testing, that he was allowed to leave the premises. So he's thrown quite a few people under the bus. Harry has also said that the army trained him to see the enemy as less than human. Many people serving and ex have spoken out and said the army does not train you to think that way. Of course, as we know, Harry spoke about his kill count like he was revealing scores on a recent game of Call of Duty. Could it be that Harry was excluded because he was given one of the most prominent roles in history, given to someone that is not a king or the husband of a monarch, and that was the Captain General of the Royal Marines? Instead of going to a memorial for 11 Marines that lost their lives, Harry took his wife to a Disney film premiere to hang with Beyonce and Jay-Z, and of course to pimp Meghan for voiceover work, which we know, strangely, he was somewhat successful. There is an endless list of reasons why Harry could have been excluded from this book, and all of them very valid. But I think what it truly boils down to is, what has Harry actually achieved? I can hear the squaddies in the background going, Invictus, Invictus. Harry did not create Invictus. First of all, it is a blueprint of the Warrior Games in America, which Harry attended, and they did a UK version. 2, it was set up by the staff of the royal family and ex-army officers. There was a team of people that created this originally for the Royal Foundation of Princes William and Harry. That's why William was there and all of the photographs for the first couple of games, and then they decided to give it to Harry's very own project because William was going to have many, many more of his own. So Harry did not create the Invictus Games. It is not his baby. He is not the founder of it as such. His name was put to it like a foreword in a book. Now, Harry is not a war hero. Harry did not do anything exemplary in his army career. He was promoted to captain, and that was as high as he got. I'm not knocking the fact that Harry did do 2 tours in Afghanistan, but it was for mere weeks at a time, not the months that many men and women did actually serve. And also, as many of us know, Harry had somewhat a slightly different life in the army, and especially out in Afghanistan. Harry was heavily protected. Many people have spoken out over the years, and he was so protected that he slept through a fatal attack which claimed lives on the very camp he was staying at, Camp Bastion. Army officers spoke out and said Harry slept through it. So you can imagine how deep he was in a bunker to not have even woken from his beauty sleep whilst the base was under attack. So again, I say, what has Harry actually achieved that makes him stand out, that makes him remarkable? There is only one thing that Harry has actually got under his belt that makes him stand out above anyone else that's attended Sandhurst Military Academy, and that is how he got in. Harry, it's known that he was academically challenged, shall we say. Harry was only allowed into Sandhurst because of who his family were. And given how he's treated them and continues to do so, I can see why there might have been lots of deciding factors, including that, as to why Harry just quite simply didn't make the cut. Now, speaking of cuts, Harry doesn't seem to be the only one. Meghan has recently suffered a few of her own, and that is because of the Golden Globes. Not only were they not in attendance, they were also the butt of jokes of host Joe Coy. Apparently, he didn't do too many funny jokes, but any jokes about Harry and Meghan had the entire audience laughing. That one's gonna sting. But there was also a few little cuts and a few little jokes, shall we say, from Meghan's former family. Yes, not those, but her former castmates, who were previously referred to as the family that she never had. And she then, again, like her real family, ghosted them. It's long been reported that they were all cut from her life when she bagged Harry. They were, however, invited to the wedding day, but they were uninvited to the evening reception. I believe that's because they know her secrets, or rather the truth to all of the lies that she had clearly told the royal family and perhaps Harry. They were no doubt only invited to the day because they'd all been forced to sign NDAs to never speak of the years that they knew Meghan, and also to fill some seats because, as we know, Meghan didn't really invite anyone else from her life to attend. It was mainly A-list celebrities that she had never met. But who does that? Who invites someone to the day part of the wedding but uninvites them to the evening party? It's because she didn't want certain people mixing and talking. As I've always said, loose lips sink ships, and Meghan didn't want that yacht going down quite so early on in her career as a royal. So despite the fact that Meghan had obviously discarded them when she felt they were of no use to her anymore, they are definitely having the last laugh because they were at one of Hollywood's hottest calendar events of the year, and Meghan was not. Now, there's no denying that Suits has actually become more popular the second time round it has been aired. Some say this is because of Meghan, not because of her acting or achievements, but because of her connection to British royalty. Basically, she married Prince Harry, and there's probably some truth to that. But you imagine being the main cast members. Meghan was number 6 on the call sheet. Basically, she was a side part. She played Patrick's girlfriend. And I'm not saying that Meghan wasn't part of the show. She was, as she likes to tell people, a whole 7 seasons. She worked with them for all of those years. They were part of each other's lives. The moment she bagged Harry, she completely ghosted every single one of them. So for them to constantly be asked about Meghan, every time they go to a red carpet event, anytime they appear on TV, you can see them. There's always someone that's like, what do you think about Meghan? What do you think about Meghan? And they obviously get irritated, and they all somewhat showed it. And I've got some brilliant clips to show you because I'd love to hear your thoughts. First up, we've got Patrick and Gabriel, who were the 2 main stars of the show. Now, I want you to watch Gabriel's face closely when the interviewer mentions Meghan's name. Patrick then quickly comes in afterwards with an ass-kissing thing, but again, watch Gabriel.
I mean, we need Miss Markle back in the mix.
Back in the mix.
Okay with it. If Suits is coming back.
She's pretty popular right now. It's kind of a thing.
I don't know why.
I don't know why.
Did you catch that at the end? Gabriel's like, who? And yeah, okay, there's lots of people that make this joke. You know, Serena Williams did it. But yeah, you couldn't help but see in that initial bit, as soon as Meghan's name had been mentioned, you watch his jaw clench. Then we move on to Patrick and his lovely wife, Troan Bellisaro. Now, watch in this clip, she's looking at her husband as he's being interviewed, and she's smiling at him, she's looking at him. Big grin on her face. Watch her face the moment that Meghan's name is mentioned about her and Patrick working together.
Loving it almost more than they loved it the first time around. It's incredible.
We've heard all these rumors that Meghan may come back to acting. Would you guys team up again?
You heard that rumor?
Yeah, well, I mean, No, I think the truth is heard all these rumors that Meghan may come back to acting. Would you guys team up again?
You heard that rumor?
Yeah, well, I mean, no,
You can see he's unhappy. He's not happy that it was mentioned, but he then quite clearly asks, did you hear that directly from Meghan? Or did you hear that directly from the source? I think he felt uncomfortable that that was being mentioned in front of his wife, because to me, it was clearly obvious that his wife didn't look too best pleased with the thought of him working with his former co-star again either. And who can blame her, given the number of rumours that have flown round about their close relationship? So let's move on to my final and favourite clip. Now, this is actually with Gina Torres. I love Gina Torres in Firefly. It's one of my favourite shows. I could watch it all over again, start to finish. But she handles it really, really well. But you watch her face, watch her facial expressions when Meghan's name is mentioned. Now, she really does think on her feet very quickly.
Who texted Meghan and said, you gotta come to the Golden Globes, Meghan Markle?
We don't have her number.
Yeah! That's a good one.
We just don't. So she'll see. She'll watch. She'll be happy that we're here.
It's all in the eyes and the smiles. One, she handled it well, but it's the way she's like, we don't have her number. We don't. And I just thought that's her making a point of saying, we just don't speak to her. We've got nothing to do with her. You know, none of us actually talked to her. It was a very collective we. But she tacks onto the end.
She'll watch. She'll be happy that we're here.
And I can't help but feel like another voice going, but she'll watch. She'll be happy for us as she sits at home and we're at the Golden Globes. Now, of course, Meghan's PR jumped all over this straight away. Meghan wasn't at the Golden Globes. She didn't make an appearance with her former Suits castmates. Two stories that amused me came out. First of all, Meghan didn't attend because there was not enough security there. Or rather, her needs and requirements for extra security could not be met. Let's get real. There are Hollywood big power players. There are A-listers, from singers, actors, you name it there, wearing millions, if not billions of jewellery. You don't think that they wouldn't have security round there tighter than Fort Knox. All of these huge stars, but there wasn't enough security for Meghan. So no, that story, I don't believe it. They did tack on in there, well, Meghan wouldn't go because she isn't actually up for an award. When's that stopped her? Now, my favourite story to end on as to why Meghan was not in attendance was Meghan had a prior engagement, right? Is she meant to be washing her hair or something? There is only one thing that I could think that Meghan would have a prior engagement that would take priority, and that's the simple fact that today is the Princess of Wales' birthday. So Meghan was probably furiously marching around Montecito with various paparazzi on speed dial, hoping that someone would take her picture and sell it to the newspapers. I haven't looked at the news yet today, but we will wait and see if we get an appearance from Meghan. You know that she cannot help herself. You can synchronise your watch to it when it's Catherine's birthday. She's always got to do something. But for them saying that Meghan wouldn't go to the Golden Globes, I'm sorry, that woman would go to the opening of an envelope. Come on, seriously, we all know that Meghan would sell Harry's kidneys or his balls on eBay to get an invite to go to the Golden Globes. There is only one reason why Meghan wasn't there, and that's because, just like Harry, she just didn't make the cut. So guys, that's the end of this video. I will be back with you tomorrow. We've got lots to talk about. I'll talk more about Catherine. I'll hopefully see more tributes coming out today to her birthday to include, which is always nice. And we've got to talk about Andrew. I'm thinking of sticking him on a separate video though, just because of the content of that video. So we'll see, that might be the bonus video this week, because I'd like to hear your comments on it as well. And it'd be good to keep it separate from the rest of the real royals, the nice stuff. So I will look forward to chatting to you in the comments, and I will see you as soon as tomorrow. So happy 2024. Have a wonderful start to the new year. Bye.